Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 28 of Multiblock Madness. Last time we left off having processed our uninspected minerals down to their shard level. So I have it, there's only a few shards that we get that I'm particularly interested in, and those are the ones containing niobium at the moment. However, we have all these other shards as well, and I don't know, some of these I'm sure inevitably contain something useful. Molybdenum, probably useful at some point. Oh look, there's niobium in there too. Oh, that's one of the shards I already have. But yeah, these shards we have to then further process to take the actual dusts out of it. So to do so, we need a chemical reactor or chemical extractor supplied with nitric acid and sodium cyanide. It's effectively same idea as the leaching vat here, except different multi-block, different chemicals, but same concept. So we'll have to build one of those, get the chemicals. A byproduct of the leaching that I forgot about last episode was that we produce this leachate stuff. So there's three grades of it: medium, low, and high. And it's what the grade you get, I think, depends entirely on what gang you put in. So because right now we're processing, I think it's all oxides, we get all high grade out, which is, I guess, nice. I assume high grade is the best, but what do I know? Anyways, this leachate can be further processed in a retention vat to get more shards out of it. But I briefly looked through the shards that we get out of leachate processing, and unless I happen to need one of the resources out of this, I probably won't bother with it. Like, I don't know, zirconium, but we get zirconium from other sources. There's really not much here. I think that has a lot of europium. Maybe not. There's also the thing I noticed the most in here. Maybe I was starting from the top. Was that there's a lot of arsenic in here. Good old arsenic. Who needs to breathe, anyways, right? But whatever. If it turns out we need to process leachate, well, it'll be in our quantum tank waiting for us. If not, it sits there in that quantum tank for forever. Let's start with the chemicals that go into our extraction chamber, whatever it was called. Nitric acid is the easy one. It's made from, we can make it from nitrogen and components from water. So basically from air and water. It's about as free as it gets. I'll go with the nuclear craft route just because nuclear craft machines are, at least for me, easier to understand. So it's like a series of 3 chemical reactors or something like that. Yeah, but nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, etc. Just siphon excess oxygen out of my various mechanism setups to power the chemical reactors here. Water is obviously infinite. Whoopsies. And what is this thing making? Nitrogen. It's also infinite. So there is effectively nitric acid at the cost of a little bit of energy, a fair chunk of energy, because these chemical reactors are a little hungry, but that's all right. We have a fusion reactor running still. Anyways, that's nitric acid taken care of. Sodium cyanide, though, it's a little bit trickier. So there's only one form of sodium cyanide, and that's a rock-hounding one. So we have to make it in the lab oven. No ifs, ands, or buts. However, the liquid ammonia input to it is, well, there's 2 inputs, right? Liquid ammonia and chlorine-bearing compound. We have to make this by grinding salt. That's trivial. However, the liquid ammonia we have a couple options to make it. We can make nuclear craft ammonia, which is quite easy to make. It's another case of nitrogen, hydrogen, right? Air and water make ammonia. However, that makes, I guess it's called ammonia, but it's supposedly gaseous ammonia, even though in nuclear craft it's a liquid. Don't stress it. But we can turn that into liquid ammonia at an 80-to-1 ratio. It's kind of an awful ratio. So given that, I think it's better to directly produce liquid ammonia in the lab oven. But even this, I mean, it only makes 50 millibuckets a go. And it consumes either ammonia chloride or tar. Tar, I don't think I have fully automatable. There's almost assuredly a way to get infinite tar from one of the ores I'm mining, but that's a lot of processing. So given that, I think we'll just go with the inefficient nuclear craft route, because literally water and air. It'll use up a lot of power, which means I might need multiple chemical reactors. Oh boy. Which might mean that we have to do something about our power, right? Of our 10 million output from here, like 8.5 of it is going into the void miners. We'll deal with power issues when we get there, I guess. Hey, I think I'm starting to get the hang of this rock counting thing. I also figured out why my gas expander wasn't working last episode. Because it's a multi-block, it's not just a single block. Anyways, from the beginning, we make ammonia out of our air components, air and water components, turn it from ammonia into gaseous ammonia, right? This is rock counting gas ammonia. Pump it into a pressure vessel, that's part of the gas condenser multi-block. It condenses it into liquid ammonia. It's a little slow, but I don't think I can speed up the gas condenser. Nope, just kidding. There is a slot for a speed upgrade in the gas condenser. Your 4 speed upgrades are still the best we can make, but I mean, it's 5 times as fast. So that makes our liquid ammonia. Now we've got the 2 acids or whatever that go into our... Oh, wait, no, we're not done yet. We want sodium cyanide, not liquid ammonia. So I guess we still have to make a lab blender to blend down salt and a lab oven to mix it all together. The lab blender looks to be about as simple as these multi-blocks get. It's just the blender itself and some power. So if I plug in the power, give it the induction. Or are you not charging? Power station? Hello? Well, anyways, if I just put this... Uh-oh. Why you don't run? You put the input in the top here. And then you run it in the bottom. Alright, now I just need to figure out why you are not powered. Hello, power station. You have to... No, I've been powering my power stations on the bottom, right? Like, that power station's powered from the bottom. Man, oh no, it is running. Okay, I was about to say, even something as simple as this I can't get right. But, yeah, this turns salt into chlorine-bearing compound. Great. Next up, the lab oven. So first we build the multi-block, set the recipe. I'm going to use sodium cyanide plus. I think the plus means that we use the one with the catalyst, so we just get the extra yield. This produces a couple of outputs. So I guess my output system's wrong, but let's start with inputs. Inputs are ammonia and water, and when you set the recipe in the lab oven, it automatically sets the filters on the fluid input system, which is nice here. I don't know why my other thing, I guess, what was the other one I needed filter for? This one, the stir. It didn't automatically set input filtering because there was no recipe selection. I see. So I avoided the issue where I had to try to set the filter myself. Whatever. Moving on, we supply it with a chlorine-bearing compound that we ground out of our salt. A catalyst, I just enchanted it. I was curious if it works. I mean, it has 2,000 durability by default. So 2,000 durability with unbreaking 16 is 17 times that. So 2,000 times 17, 34,000 uses. I think that's practically unbreakable. It has life bending too. I don't know. Maybe it damages my oven to repair itself. Anyways, hit the go button, put it upgraded. It does its thing. Now it does have 2 outputs. So there's toxic waste and sodium cyanide. Toxic waste is, I mean, it sounds bad, right? It has a couple uses. It can be turned into EXP. Don't much care. It can be turned into sulfur bearing compound and flue gas, which turns into carbon and flue gas, which eventually gets burned, I think. Don't care. So I'm just going to trash it. With the input chemicals out of the way, we can now build our extraction chamber. So I'm pretty sure I have the multi-block built right based on the fact that the fluid input system automatically locked to the right chemicals. So we just have to input those through the... Oh, that did work. Through applied aerogistics. They put storage buses on each of those things, and these are first-rate, honest-to-goodness fluids, which makes them, you know, all of our regular fluid handling works as expected. So that should fill it up with both of those chemicals. Very good. Put a speed upgrade in here, and now I don't actually know how it outputs the stuff. It has these cabinets on it, which are the same as our metal alloyer, so it makes you think that it stores the items as like dust parts internally. Oh, does this not take a speed upgrade? It's not. So maybe I have to activate it first. Nope. Okay. there's a value we can set here called reaction intensity. I think that affects this thing. So the more intense we make it, the more efficient, and I don't know. The less intense we make it, the less efficient, but the more stable it is. I have no clue what those values mean. Maybe you will help me. Oh boy. So, okay. Put a specimen in the controller, set the input. Feed the fluids check. Supply 6 ferrous catalysts to the reaction stabilizer. So that the intensity probably affects how quickly we degrade these. So reaction stabilizer, 6 slots, and it wants ferrous specifically. So I'm gonna enchant these with unbreaking as well, because I have a feeling we'll be burning through these relatively quickly. I think with my super high level enchanting, I am almost guaranteed to get unbreaking. I haven't not gotten unbreaking yet, at the very least, in the 10-ish things I've enchanted. And has it been exactly 16 every time? It has. Cool. I mean, this is kind of one of those things where the chain is only as strong as its weakest link, right? So if I get, like, if a single one of these breaks, I imagine the whole machine shuts down. All right, so anyways, drop those in. Next step, put a test tube and graduated cylinder in the glassware holder. You know, I'm just gonna do all this putting tools. I'm gonna enchant and put tools in all the various machines that need it. Turns out there is room for a speed upgrade as well in the glassware holder. So apparently the speed upgrades, despite being made entirely of metal, are glassware. But who am I to judge? Anyways, the book has a little blurb about selecting intensity. So selecting intensity according to the resources and specimen. If all elements are lower than 20%, the intensity becomes irrelevant and the lowest is more profitable, yada, yada, yada. So I think what it's telling me is that the safe recovery means that you are guaranteed to get 20% of each element out of the shard. So for everything in this shard, iron and below, I'm guaranteed all of it, no matter what. In that case, you just select the lowest intensity because it uses less fluid. As I bump this up, does this increase the numbers? There we go, it does. And above 20%, I think you get an amount based on the efficiency, and I don't know what the other values do. But anyways, it's kind of like a balancing game between how much fluid you use up and how much recovery you get, and yada, yada, yada. So I'm just gonna start it at, like, I don't know. Yeah, actually, let's start with a different shard. We'll pick the shard that has this one, that has only 6% niobium in it, and most of it is tantalum, and I don't think I care about tantalum. Right, I don't think there's any meaningful use except in, like, various, alloys, which I don't know. I don't think I'll need them. So if we just drop this in, we can drop the intensity to 1, and we are not running because I didn't plug in. Nope, you're not plugged in. 1 short. All right, now are we running? Here we go. So now we are processing the shard. Let's process exactly 1 right now. But having processed 1 shard, that goes into the elements cabinet, and we can view it from here. We have 22 pieces of tantalum. So for 1, we get our guaranteed 20, and then we picked up an incidental 2%. The other stuff like tin, we got 7%. Magnesium or manganese, we got 7%. Niobium. I wonder where niobium is on this list. It's here somewhere. That's tin. I guess we're gonna look for the tiny green bars. Here we go. We picked up 6 niobium out of the 6. So yeah, we got all 6 guaranteed ones. Anyways, let's process this all. By turning down the intensity, right, we've greatly reduced the amount of fluid we use. I forget. I think it's the sodium cyanide is pretty slow to make, so I don't want to chew through it too quickly. Anyways, I'm curious what, like, the dissolution chance and stabilization values mean. At first I thought dissolution chance was the odds that our shard gets to be reused, but it's going through 1 shard every operation anyways, right? I don't know, whatever. Point is, this is going to eventually spit out our niobium. Now to get the dusts out, I believe all we have to do is extract from... That's a blue dot. Is there a orange dot underneath? No, there is not. Let's let it make a dust, and then we'll just test to see where we extract from. I already used 2 durability. Here it is. They go into the lab balance, and I guess we can't extract it by hand, but if we get I assume it'll connect to item conduits. Yeah, we can just extract from that. So, looking at how much durability gets used up, I don't think it actually cares for unbreaking. It's used 1 durability per operate, right? We have 7 dusts, and it's used exactly 7 durability. So I think it either unbreaking stops working at a certain point, or it doesn't respect it, which is a shame. We're probably going to have to supply this thing with a supply of graduated cylinders. Then again, graduated cylinders are 100% glass, so who really cares? Well, on the other hand, these other components are using durability at a rate that makes me think unbreaking does work. I've lost no durability on any catalyst. Only a couple points on the glassware. I don't know. Maybe it's just the cabinets don't care about durability. Weird stuff. Anyways, I'm putting in the good shards now, so I did turn up the intensity to 8. Yeah, we get 48% of the amount over 20% back, I think. But the fruits of our labor include niobium dust. So now that I have this, I can smelt it into niobium ingots, cook it into niobium titanium, and we can get back to what we were doing, which was making the chapter 7 Forge of the Heavens. I think we're almost done now too, right? Kinda, sort of, kind of. Turning up the intensity has started damaging my catalysts, so I think that's the dissolution chance is probably the chance that your catalyst takes damage, but then unbreaking applies or something, and it doesn't really matter. In 7 decades, I might have to replace those. All of that to make niobium for highly advanced machine frames. I need 13 more of these. Honestly, would it have been easier to go loot them? Probably, but 21,000 bytes to make 13 machine frames. Yikes. Hit the go button. I think at this point we're actually making advanced machine frames as well. Yeah, I've used up all my looted advanced frames, so we're crafted all the way up the tree. Thank goodness for applied logistics, though. There's, I mean, this microcrafting would drive anyone insane. Let's build out our Forge of the Heavens. The preview insists it be built this way, even though I'd rather build it the other way, but the technology doesn't exist yet to rotate previews, so I'm not about to try to rotate it in my head, shall we say. Anyways, kind of hard to tell what block actually goes here. Clearly a block goes there. I guess I don't have to rely on the preview. Wait, we are in the middle section. Structure frames. Ew. All right, anyways, I'm gonna build this out. I mean, at least this preview tells me if I built it wrong, right? So, yeah, hopefully I don't mess it up. Our Forge of the Heavens is all built, and it does look pretty darn neat. So, for power, it doesn't directly connect to RF power. You have to shoot it with a mechanism laser. So I have 4 lasers pointing into an amplifier, so all 4 feed into the laser acceptor, and the laser acceptor is kind of like a battery. It stores an amount of energy in it, and as far as I know, it just keeps storing energy. Like, it'll go into gigajoules and above. So we just beam into it. It's not even a lot. Like, each of these lasers only uses, I don't know, 40 RF a tick, maybe 100 RF a tick. It's for all practical intents and purposes irrelevant. So now we have our Forge of the Heavens, we can do some upgrades to it. The other quest for it, yeah, we can make it faster by replacing the lamps with luminescence filled lamps. So this is done in the Forge of the Heavens, but we can fill in the lamps to make it 60% faster. The interesting thing about this is that its main input is fluid, and there's only 2 fluid input hatches. However, there's 6-7 recipes total, and various different recipes use different fluids. So we're going to need a way to either selectively put in the exact amount of fluid for any given recipe, or have multiple forges, or I'm not quite sure. Let's start by just doing the recipes that use argon, because I think we have to make like the lamps once and that's it. We never have to use argon in our Forge of the Heavens again. But all these other things, like, we're definitely going to have to make crystal matrices, these ingots, neutronium. You know, we'll be back. Well, I guess we won't make neutronium in it, right? We make neutronium in our target chamber. So I guess it's maybe not that big a deal. There's really just the crystal matrix and the deposition matrices. To make the argon that goes into the crafting, I'm going, well, there's a couple ways to do it. We can either do it the rock hounding way or the nuclear craft way. There's probably a third way here involving, maybe not. But anyways, I'm going to do the nuclear craft route. So start with an atmosphere collector. This thing uses a lot of energy, by the way. 5,000 RF a tick. I mean, I guess that's not a lot anymore. But that makes air, and then we... I'm extracting as fast as we make it. Make air, and then we centrifuge it for nitrogen, oxygen. I toss both of these because I have other sources of those already in, you know, huge quantities. And then three inert, or are these all noble gases? Argon, neon, and helium. Yes, they are. 3 noble gases. So is that true? Yeah. Helium's like, yeah, no, they're all noble gases. Okay, anyways, apparently that's what's in the air. Our air is made 100% of nitrogen, oxygen, argon, neon, and helium. Anyways, we store those in tanks for use later. I have a feeling we'll be using some of these for quantum Minecraft dynamics stuff in the future. But for now, I just need to actually fill the tank with that. There we go. 252 buckets of argon. Ooh, is it Eclipse Day? It sure is. And then we'll pump that into one of the hatches. When there will be leftover argon in the hatch when we're done, we can just break it and replace the hatch. We'll empty it out. Items go in here, and we're not crafting. Why is that? I'm trying to make this. Right, so it's argon as a fluid, no second fluid, 10 Minecraft, or 10 megajoules, a frame, and a block. Oh, that's the item output. Where's the item input? Hold on. Ah. Found it. And there we go. Now we're crafting. All right. So I'm going to let all 8 of these craft and then replace the ones on the thing to speed it up. If you get bored during the crafting, you can also go stand in the laser beam to take a lot of damage. It hurts less than I expected. I guess my gears, or my enchants, whatever, really good. But now that it glows, it crafts faster. Something like that. Now that we have it, we can... Ooh, what do we get? Luminous jelly. Delicious. We can make our crystal matrix ingots. These are used to craft the ultimate ingot, but they're not consumed. So the ultimate ingot is crafted on a terrestrial agglomeration recipe using a full mana pool, maybe even more than a full mana pool. But by the way, this recipe is super cool. It's way better than all those... We've all seen ultimate ingots before, which is like, take one of every ingot in the pack and put it in a 9x9 crafting table, have fun. No, this only uses 5 ingots that are, you know, of moderate difficulty to get, not too difficult. However, the real challenge is that, and this is one of the features added by Botanic tweaks, super cool, is that the empowered blocks that go under your agglomeration plate become unempowered by the operation, like they become their normal variant, and then you have to re-empower them to make more ultimate ingots. That is super awesome. So anyways, the crystal matrix block itself is unchanged, so we only have to, for now, make 1 block for this, and then may as well make a second block because it's the fluid modifier. I assume it makes this thing take less fluids, although quest is locked, so I can't read it. But anyways, crafting recipe is similar here, uses... Material-wise, with the exception of the celestial crystal, we have all this stuff already. Fluids-wise, I need liquid starlight and powered oil. I have starlight, but not much of it. I should probably improve my starlight farm. And empowered oil, I do need to set up an automation system to make it. Fortunately, making empowered canola is trivial, so we have to make canola, refine it, yada yada yada, and then throw a couple things into it. We'll swap our liquid starlight tank out with a quantum tank. Then we'll just hold a lot more liquid starlight, and I'll leave our thing on at all times now. Do I still have... Yeah, I still have a few crystals left in here. Every now and then I just restock this junk storage unit with a whole bunch of rock crystals. Each rock crystal melts into a whole lot of starlight. So 800 buckets when we only need like 10 buckets per is, you know, that's enough for 80 crafts. With the empowered canola oil, let's start by planting canola plants. So I leveled some to 10, 10, 10, and they're getting some pretty spotty growth spots, like the ones near the edge aren't getting full growth boost. So I'm just going to plant 3 of them. And I need to make sure we add them to the drawers. They can't be compacted, can they? Nope, didn't think so. So canola and seeds uses the normally the mystical agriculture plants don't produce seeds, but canola is an exception. Or not mystical agriculture, agricraft crops in general don't produce seeds when harvested, but canola is an exception because we need the canola seeds to actually do things. So then, once we have the canola plant and the canola seeds, we start by taking the plant and turning it into oil. That's done in a series of canola presses. Might need to add more to keep up. I don't know how much we realistically need. These turn each canola plant, I guess you call it. No, it's not the seed. What exactly is it? A nut? Canolas are nuts, right? It turns each canola into 80 millibuckets of canola oil, and then we can process it further to refine it somehow. I'm choosing to use a still here because it's fast, but actually Additions has a canola refining thingy as well. I forget its name, but the still just is lightning fast, so I'm using that. And then we go through the fun process of turning refined canola into crystallized and then into empowered oil. So in each of these steps we have to throw an item into it, and you want to throw exactly one. If you throw more than one, it'll consume them all. So first you have to put canola oil in world and throw crystallized canola onto, or crystallized canola onto it. My setup for this is to place it in world with an annihilation plane, pick it up when it's done with or place it with a formation plane, pick it up with an annihilation plane on a different subnet, and then do the same thing again with the next step. To actually drop the canola, I'm using a precision dropper to detect when the what I'm doing is I'm detecting with the sensor when there is fluid here, and then when there is fluid, I'm having the precision dropper drop a thing, although it's currently broken for some reason. Why is this? So what's supposed to happen is output is on, not turns it into a NOT gate. Wait, do I need a NOT gate? I don't need a NOT gate. I need output directly to go to that. Jimmy, what are you doing? By the way, I'm still being stubborn and not automating the atomic reconstructor. I'm just dropping a bunch of canola in, then that's probably just enough for the foreseeable future. Canola is a good reason, though, to actually automate the atomic reconstructor. You do use a lot of this stuff. So the problem I'm running into right now is that the formation plane... Can I sneak that in by hand? Get in there. The formation plane is too fast. What's happening is that it's placing a new piece of... Really tough to get this angle to throw. Oh. No. It's placing a new piece of fluid there before the sensor gets to detect that the old one is gone. So this signal just stays on, and if the signal stays on, the dropper only drops one item, right? It drops one item per pulse. So what I'm going to do is switch this from pulse mode to deactivation mode when it has a redstone signal that causes it to stop dropping, and then I'm going to switch this over to a NOT, to use the NOT gate once again. There we go. So now it'll drop canola in as long as there is a fluid there, and when there's no fluid there, it stops dropping canola. A demagnetizer is needed to turn my magnet off. So, all right, we end up in this. Oh no, because the sensor is specifically looking for refined canola. If the last bucket there is empowered canola or crystallized oil, whatever the upgraded version is, the item just sits there. We despawn one from time to time. I don't really care. We have to do a similar setup here now, except this time we're dropping in empowered canola. So empowered canola is a bit trickier, except I can just be like, hey, make me a lot of it autocraft. You know what? You win. I'm going to set up atomic reconstructor automation for canola seeds. This ended up being a little bit hideous, but at least it's fast, and that was really my design goal. So a interface, as usual, supplies items into the or to be crafted. That goes into another subnet, which this first subnet is just this interface and this formation plane. So literally it drops them in front of the atomic reconstructor. There's a second subnet consisting of this annihilation plane and this filtered storage bus. That's what picks up the items. The fact that the storage, or partition storage bus, whatever. The fact that the storage bus is partitioned is what acts as our filter. Then there's this little bit of redstone here to detect, are there entities there? If so, start shooting. And I use a timer to make it shoot very fast. And I put as many connections as I can into the atomic reconstructor because the rate that it charges is dependent on how many connections it has. So if I request, say, 1,000 crystallized canola seeds, they all get dropped, shot up, and collected. There is one small issue where the final product can end up on top of this sensor here, and that's obviously not good. So let's move things around a bit. I put covers on the sides that aren't in, I don't have anything going on to keep the items from popping out, but I'm gonna have to move this sensor by the looks of it. That ought to do it. So the sensor has different ranges. By making it range 3, it can look past a block. And now let's do that again. I don't need more. Wait, did I? Oh no, did I only request 100? I thought I did 1,000. That's for a couple hundred. They get dropped, they get shot up, and they get collected. Bam, done. And then when there's no items there, it turns off. It wastes a little bit of energy overshooting, but it's like 1,000 RF per blast, and I really don't care about 1,000 RF. All right, so that is Empower Automation. It does all the blocks, canola, infinity reagents, etc., etc. So now I can auto-craft these, and these go real quick because they're made on that thing that's shooting out sparks. So we just have to clone this setup for empowered oil, and then we'll be done. And now the system's completely done and automated. It'll empower canola oil for us until I have a quantum tank full of it. Probably more canola oil than I need, but whatever. What else am I going to do with canola? I guess I can burn it if I need more energy. Good joke. Anyways, this is done now. We can go craft our, whatever we were making. Crystal matrix ingots. I looked at the recipe for celestial crystals. At one point I was just going to go make these by make celestial crystals by hand because I don't think the stats on this one matter. However, I was like, wow, I'll one celestial crystal each. Turns out there's an easier recipe. We just dump it in the crystallizer. It takes a little while, 120 seconds, but our crystallizer runs at, I think it's 4x speed, so it's only 30 seconds, and that's still much faster than growing them the regular way. So we can, I think, now set up full auto crafting for crystal matrix ingots. Actually, there is something that makes crafting the celestial crystal on demand slightly difficult. I assume the output crystal has this fixed MBT where it just doesn't have a size, but the input still requires rock crystals, and rock crystals always have some MBT data on them because the only way to get them is by breaking rock crystal ore, right? So my plan is to set up a thing here where I can, oopsies, that's supposed to get sucked to my inventory, break rock crystal ore. If I put a demagnetizer here, that'll solve that real quick. All right, so the rock crystal ore that I break will get, if I can use a better fortune pickaxe later, but will get placed into this junk storage unit, into which will send it into this dedicated crucible whose sole purpose is to make celestial crystals. Then I also have a ME interface here supplying stardust. There's a crafting card in here because stardust is made from metal ore. So this has a limited item filter that keeps one of the input slots in the input hatch stocked with stardust. The other slots will all be stocked with rock crystals, and then that will cause it to craft into celestial crystals. So I want this to finish one cycle, and then we shall see what the stats on the output celestial crystal are. Is it really statless? It really is. If I pick it up, does it gain stats? It does. So as long as I never pick it up, I can just go store it in some other device. I want to do some testing, such as if I move it into a chest, does that cause it to gain stats? I hope not. Answer is no, it does not gain stats, and no, it does not even gain, or they do even stack. Cool. I didn't know that celestial crystals stacked. Do they don't even stack when they have the same MBT data, do they? Hold on, I'm just confused. Where's my celestial crystal farm, right? Like, these don't stack despite being exact copies. Ah, cool. Oh wait, maybe that's they're only stacking because I used a radiant chest. Radiant chest breaks stacking rules. It lets items stack to 256 or stacks in one slot. All right, that's fine then. So all I have to do is dump a storage bus on this. That's a storage bus, and then as long as in my recipe for making the crystals, I specifically say, only use this specific crystal that has no MBT data on it, it'll be able to craft, because processing recipes, right, don't have any idea of substitutions, so they have to be exact matches. So let's take this recipe, and instead of this, actually that is a rice crystal. Kind of awkward because I wonder if this works. Did that gain tags on my cursor? It did. Okay, so let's take this recipe, drop it into our Forge of the Heavens in here. I'm using a thin interface here so I can actually click past and see what's in the input bus, and order ourselves one crystal matrix. Actually, we need 18. We need 17 because we get one as a quest reward. So I need to add a couple more recipes, wait for that to process a bit more, but we should be good to make our 17 ingots, crystal matrix ingots. All right, Forge of the Heavens, time to do your thing now. 17 crystal matrices, very good. Let's scan this to see what the highlights are, if there's anything particularly expensive. Not really. Some nether stars, a resonating gem. Why do you need one resonating gem? Probably to empower something. All right, well, have at it. Regarding the problem with the fluids for the other Heavens of the Forge, or Forge of the Heavens recipes, I think I'm just going to build a second one to make like the deposition matrices. They have 2 input buses, right? So we can make both of these in one, and then if needed, we'll make a third one to do the neutronium stuff later. But yeah, for now, I think this thing will take it a little while to craft the ingots. I guess we could wait until our first ingot is done. Oh, it's crafting. Missing fluid but why is that? There's no fluid in there. Because you have no empowered oil. Because I probably didn't put a fluid storage bus on this. Classic. Jimmy doesn't plug in his machines. Alright, that should mean that there's powered oil coming to here, and I should partition that bus too, in case this ever empties out. Alright, so there should be oil in here now, which should get you started. There we go. And then once I have a block of it, we can upgrade, I don't know which block of the machine here, but upgrading one of the blocks according to the quest will make it take less fluid. Does it matter? Probably not, no, because I have tons of the fluid. But replace a crystalline block with a crystal matrix to have the fluid. Woohoo! I get to use half of my infinite fluids. Anyways, that'll be it for today, though. We'll be back next time to tackle the ultimate ingot. This should be a fun challenge. We get to play around with this fun recipe. But yeah, that'll be for next time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.